With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Hey there, I'm Nicholas Dubois, co-founder of Advanced Sim Racing. We are a Canadian company. So what we did here today is for a real petrol head. He's really passionate about cars, as you can see behind me. We did a turnkey solution for him based on his needs. We try to gather as much information as we can on our client. And like we did today, we install a D-Box system. We install ultra-wide cube control steering wheel. We try to provide the best quality for your budget. So let's say if you want a budget of 10 grand, we're gonna give you something that's the best for 10 grand. If you want 20 grand, then we always try to stay within your boundaries. We do try to make it as easy as possible. So the client, once we install everything, it's pretty much gonna be a turnkey. So he's gonna press start on his computer, and right after, we'll try to explain everything, how it goes, how it works, and then he's ready to go. Our aluminum is from USA, treated in Canada, cut in Canada. So we do sand all our aluminum piece just to make sure the powder coat sticks to it. And that's one of the reasons why we use powder coat, is to make sure you have the best aluminum finish in the industry. And our quality is beyond what you can get with any other competitors right now. We are really, really passionate about all the gear, all the cockpits, all the sim hardware, and that's why we want to create something that's really gonna reflect our passion into our product. Come visit us at advancedsimracing.com. You can always reach us if you have any questions. You can call us, you can text us, you can go on Facebook, like our page, ask us questions over there, and we'll make sure to answer every questions there is. We are very passionate about what we do, and we try to make it as easier for you to go into the sim racing world, because there's a lot of gear, there's a lot of options, but let us guide you through your process, and let's hope you'll be an Advanced Sim Racing customer.
Michigan International Speedway, 2 miles, high speeds, and a guarantee for exciting NASCAR truck racing. We've got a slick track right now and a slick setup, almost 120 degrees Fahrenheit here in Brooklyn, Michigan, and we've got a jumbled up order in practice, so get ready. This is round 7 of the PRL NASCAR Truck Series, live from the virtual Michigan International Speedway. Hi everybody, Joey Tebben here, alongside Terry Radford in the booth with Connery Maddock behind the scenes. You might have noticed this was a bit of a shorter intro than normal, because I'm told that Terry has done some scheming, and I think Eminem is with me in the commentary box.
Yeah, I mean, you get one shot, one opportunity to win a race in the PRL. Do you capture it, Joey, or you just let it slip?
Terry, I think you should lose yourself from this broadcast. Here's another look at the 2023 Season 3 schedule for the Precision Racing League NASCAR Truck Series. I'm starting to feel like a rap god. Nashville Superspeedway, Chicagoland Speedway, Mid-Ohio, New Hampshire, Pocono, Lucas Oil we've already run. Michigan's coming up right now, and we've got 3 to go after tonight. Richmond, Kentucky, and the high banks, the high speeds of Daytona. The season's coming to a close, Terry. It's falling apart before our very eyes.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and you'll never get this back. I mean, I love this schedule, and I love this schedule for so many different reasons. Because obviously, you go from a short track to a high bank track, and then we go back to a short track, and then we go to a track that nobody likes, and then we go back to a bigger track that's even cooler to end the championship. So these drivers are going to be on edge tonight, and then they get to hot-tempered here and go to another hot-tempered racetrack.
Hot temper racetrack, hot temperatures. They might need some real slim shade to cool them down. Abner Acosta at the top of the standings here. Of course he is. He's won 3 races. He's won half of the races this season. But Bradley Holly and Thomas Sink both holding him in very, very close company. Sean Powell and Danny Cervantes still holding on as well. And Jeff Evans, 193 points. He is not here tonight, I don't believe, so he will take this as drop wig. And then Colton Lane, Jeff Hollingsworth, Austin Hunter, and Adam Zemke round out the top 10 in the driver's standings. Take a look at the team standings as well. Always an interesting battle at the top between the two Whataback squads. It's Overdrive over back row right now, and then Phase 2 Chassis Works still need to do a little bit of work on consistency to catch up to those Whataback crews. And then SGE Sports, the Slipstream squad, they're in 4th. And then the Hunters over at Loud Pedal for Whataback are 5th. Car Ramrod, Precision Racing Esports, Ride Shotgun Motorsports, and of course the two Team DDI squads down there at 9th and 10th, as they've been for the past few weeks. But before we go any further, of course, we must thank our sponsors for tonight and for every week. Of course, we start with VCO, the virtual competition organization, helping us out here at RaceSpotTV and helping to make every single Precision Racing League broadcast possible this season. This coverage is also brought to you by Advanced Sim Racing. Owned and operated by passionate sim racers, Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. All PRL members also get a 5% discount on ASR products using the Precision5 coupon code. This coverage is also brought to you by RaceLab apps. RaceLab helps you to improve your driving skills. With modern overlays, race statistics, and native VR integration, you can get the best out of iRacing. Start using it now for free at racelab.app. We are also proudly brought to you by the Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker products provide an incredible immersion and realism to every game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat with the Butt Kicker. And last but not least, as always, NinjaTrader. Ready to compete against the financial markets? Supporting over 60,000 users across the globe, NinjaTrader provides award-winning trading software and brokerage services. NinjaTrader is always free to use for advanced charting, backtesting, and trade simulation. Visit ninjatrader.com to get started with a risk-free trading simulator and start tracking your performance. And believe it or not, there's one more sponsor this week. Purified Racing Liquid, the official boxed water of the Precision Racing League. Made with 100% mountain water, Purified Racing Liquid has as many calories as Nicholas Hunter has PRL wins. It's infinitely recyclable, like Abner Acosta's tires, and it is almost as funky and cold as Jose Medina. Precision Water, Precision Racing, Purified Racing Liquid, proud sponsor of the Precision Racing League. And also not real. All right, time to get into the action here. And there is the Purified Racing Liquid truck, right on track, right on cue. How do I even explain this?
I don't know how to follow you. I don't know, right? It's probably the funniest thing I've seen. You know, we come up here every Wednesday, and I think we deliver A+ quality. I'm sure the people at home, the racers think we do, because we went on a massive pitch and a massive plug for every every corporation we could. And here it is. So let's see what we can get the drivers to. Maybe Nicholas Hunter next week has a different truck, and it's something crazy that we talk about.
If you weren't with us here last week at IRP, I guess the worst way to ruin a joke is to explain it, but I will explain it anyway. I made an offhand comment about how there should be PRL branded bottled water. You know, just a throwaway comment while we were under caution. And of course, as obviously happened, somebody heard my comment and turned it into a full product render, and then turned it into a full racing livery, because, you know, that's what happens in normal leagues, of course, and that's what happened in the Precision Racing League tonight. Nicholas Hunter going the extra mile, going the extra 2 miles as well here in qualifying. P9, actually that's Austin Hunter in P9, forgive me. Nicholas Hunter's P12, he's going to cross the line here. And was that a third lap? Is that even going to count? It's a 40.285. He improves marginally, but doesn't improve his position. He's going to be in P13 behind another Hunter, Stacy Hunter. Unrelated as far as I know.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we don't get to singing that. But yeah, he's just out here laying some practice laps down and seeing what he could do. But we talked about it earlier. Obviously, we had a big shakeup in practice where we started seeing drivers who were up there that were running super fast laps. There's some that were on the top of that board that do not get to qualify here, but you see the guy who's on top again, who has just been on an absolute tear. That's Abner Acosta. Now he gets knocked down by Bradley Holly with about a 40 flat right there with a fixed setup, which that's pretty dang good.
I wonder, could we see a 39 before this qualifying session's over? I imagine not if Holly and Acosta haven't broken down in there, but anything's possible. And just on the topic of those drivers who did get blapped from last week, Mike Witt, Sean Powell, James Dewar, Steve Loving, Christian Swenson, Mike Richter, and Moises Caraballo all have penalties to serve for causing cautions, for causing incidents in previous weeks, and they will not be allowed to qualify for tonight. They'll be starting at the back. Moises Caraballo is not here tonight, so I believe it'll just be those 6 that I mentioned that will be starting at the back here. But we've still got some laps coming in here. Kevin McGarvey in the 77. Not a driver that I think has qualified in the top 5 all season, and this has been a fantastic run here at Michigan so far. And Austin Hunter, he's still logging laps. He wants as much airtime for that fake sponsor as possible. Hey, there's the PNG.
Yeah.
There it is. We can end the broadcast right now. I don't care about the rest of this. That's all I wanted.
Will the real PRL sponsor please stand up? Hey, he's parking in Victor Lane for us. Just kidding, he's hitting the wall.
Kevin McGarvey parks it. He's done with his qualifying. He'll be P5. Thomas Sink is done. Looks like just about everybody is done. 3 seconds left in qualifying, and that will be it for qualifying here at Michigan. A little bit of a jumbled up order, but not jumbled up whatsoever at the top of the timesheets. Bradley, Holly, and Abner Acosta on the front row. It almost seems natural. It almost seems like we say that every week here, but they are the best qualifiers in the business here, and they will be starting first and second. Doug Evans coming off another good race last week, or another good qualifying last week, I should say. He did have a good finish as well. He will be third. And then Thomas Sink, ever consistent, just back there in the precipices of the championship battle. He's fourth. And then Kevin McGarvey and Jeff Hollingsworth, great qualifyings for both of them in the 77 and the 99. P7 is Danny Cervantes. Austin Hunter is P8. And then Doyle Lawrence and Jose the Funky Cold Medina. Great performances by both of them as well. And Panzarella and Westerfield are 11th and 12th. Lucky number 13, that's Charles Sumner. He's alongside Ryan Traver. Our Chicagoland winner, Adam Zemke's 15th, and Dalton Geyer is 16th. Eric Papineau, high up in practice, fall down a little bit in qualifying, and Stacy Hunter is 18th, the second of the Hunters. Unrelated to the first Hunter, CM Pennington, driver who's 4th in practice, down in 19th, and Nicholas Hunter, who we are not biased at all towards whatsoever, starts 20th. Tom Amasi, Garrett Austin, Robert Gilmore, and Dylan Schmidt round out the top 24. And then I believe we have one more qualifier in Barron Hilton, and the rest of these guys have penalties to serve. Powell, Swenson, Witt, Loving, Richter, and Dewar have penalties to serve, and Colton Lane has, for one reason or another, elected to start at the back without qualifying. 32 trucks here, Terry. A little bit of a jumbled up grid. How can we even predict what's going to happen tonight?
I mean, we saw not too long ago, fuel mileage play dividends. You're at Michigan again. Another fuel mileage, high bank, don't lift kind of track. Like, you're going to come around here. The track temp is absolutely bananas. I don't know. I wouldn't want to drive this. Heck, I'm glad I'm not driving this. The track temp at the moment is sitting at 113 degrees. You touch that with your bare feet, you're going to get blisters on the bottom of them. So these drivers, these tires are going to be sliding. You're going to see people probably cussing and screaming over the radio. You're going to have people going, spinning one way or another. It's going to be chaos all the way around. And I'm just glad I'm up here and I ain't racing it.
Terry, I think you want to be down there racing. I really think you do. I think you're like Rihanna, because I love the way you lie.
Well, I mean, you're just going to stand there and watch me burn, all right? Like, well, I mean, we could play the Eminem game. I'm a decent Eminem fan, I guess. His new stuff is kind of but his older stuff was really good. I mean, if we play the pun, you know, somebody is going to need a doctor, and another person's going to be cleaning out his closet to put another trophy.
I think I'm glad I don't know any more Eminem songs, because I'm out of references already, and we're about to go green here at Michigan. Acosta and Holly, the front row, the two protagonists of this championship so far. But maybe tonight is when they both fall by the wayside. Maybe Thomas Sink makes a big run, or maybe, just maybe, for the second time this season, we see a first-time winner in the Precision Racing League NASCAR Truck Series. We are going to round turn 4 very, very cleanly. No US 500 shenanigans here. The iRacing sedan pace car pulls off, and through turn 4 we go. Acosta, Holly the front row. Holly's in control. Holly leads from pole, and the green flag is out at Michigan. And we got trouble in the back already. Christian Swenson has been turned into the grass at the back of the field. Not sure who is responsible for that. I think that might have been James Dewar, who is smoking big time in the back of the field. No caution for that, but that is disastrous for two of the drivers who had to start at the back because of penalties last week. Dewar and Swenson, their races might as well already be over.
Yeah, Dewar's smoking like Michael Jackson's hair in a Pepsi commercial. It is all up in flames for him. Oh, the driver's getting turned.
McGarvey, Kevin McGarvey. Such a good qualifying for Kevin. So much promise in this race, and he's already been turned down the back straight. Luckily for him, large amounts of runoff there. No damage to that truck, but that is the first caution out already. Christian Swenson saved by that caution, but let's see what happened here. Looks like it was just a checkup at the back of the field, and Dewar gets into the back of Loving, who then gets into the back of Swenson.
The sad part is he's got nose damage there, so his race is pretty much over no matter what he does. You see the 25 come down. 3 wide's not unaccustomed here. I wouldn't necessarily want to do it in turn 1 on cold tires, but it's just you meet in the middle, and that's what happens. They continuously go down the back straightaway, side draft, not going to work. Not there. Not clear, not clear, not clear. But look at the lockdown there. Woo, boy, them things are hollering.
Well saved by Kevin McGarvey there. It's not going to be any damage for him. A little bit of damage on the tires, but he's got a few more sets to choose from, and he will start essentially at the back again. We've completed about half a racing lap here, so this race that was 65 laps is likely going to become more like 61 or 60 laps once we do go green here in a few laps. No real changes up front, except for one very big change. Abner Acosta got by Bradley Holly on the start there, which is pretty remarkable. We only raced for one corner, but whatever Abner Acosta did in turn 1, he's taking control back of the restart.
Yeah, he just got a really good run there. You get the launch when you go into there, and the leaders were almost to the exit when the caution came out, so he got the run from the middle lane and was able to pinch down, gain the lead by a very small margin. It wasn't like he had dipped off. He had like a fender out in front, so now he's sitting there and he's going to dictate this race and hope that now, guess what? It's lane choice. So he can pick whichever one he wants. So if I was him, I'd go back to the outside there.
I'll have to see what Abner Acosta does. A little bit of pit lane action. Tom Amasi has brought it down pit road. Robert Gilmore, Baron Hilton they've all brought it down pit road. They've got no damage in terms of drivers who do have damage. Christian Swenson and Steve Loving, of course, down pit road with light damage in that little kerfuffle, and James Dewar, who was at the back of it all, who got that heavy engine damage. He'll probably be on pit road for about 20 minutes here, but that's interesting strategy. We've run half a lap under green, but if you're at the back, like Baron Hilton and Robert Gilmore and Tom Amasi were, I guess you've got nothing really to lose by coming down and filling up.
No, I mean, we talked about fuel mileage. Fuel mileage is going to be a big key here. We saw it not too long ago at Chicagoland, where we saw drivers be able to stretch at 36, 37 laps. Well, here you can kind of do the same thing with these sweeping corners. You clutch it just a tad bit. You allow that car to roll, or the truck to roll. You can get it to the center, get it to the bottom. How many races have we seen Dale Jr. win here? Mark Martin won a race here. Biffle, Edwards, they won races here on fuel mileage. It gives them a chance of people who necessarily wouldn't be up here running on pure speed to just play the fuel game. Clutch it, coast it. You're not going to lose a whole lot of time.
Well, think a couple weeks ago back at Pocono, Charles Sumner squeezed his gas tank for everything it had, and he came out with only a top 10. It didn't quite work out for the victory, but I guess if we do come into a fuel mileage situation, we'll have to look back at Charles Sumner in the 98, currently P12, but anything can happen in the next 61 laps. Lights are out in the pace car, and we will restart on lap number 5. It'll be a 61 lap race now to the finish, and hopefully we can go a little bit further than we did last time.
To the back straightaway.
Yeah, past the back straight. We want to get through turns 3 and 4. Let's at least complete a full racing lap here. I think we can do it, Terry. I think there's just a little bit of jitters, a little bit of not listening to one spotter and turning another driver, but I think we've learned, and I think we're ready to go for a nice, clean, long run here.
A good Sunday drive in Michigan, but not to Flint.
Good Sunday drive on a Wednesday. I think that sounds pretty good to me. So the iRacing sedan pace car pulls off once more, or at least it will in a matter of moments here. It's a switch up front. It's actually a switch on row 2 as well, as Thomas Sink now starts to the inside of Doug Evans in that highlighter green truck. But now we do get ready for a restart. The iRacing sedan pace car pulls off. Abner Acosta now takes to the point of this restart. Bradley Holly on the outside. Barney the flagman waiting to wave that green flag, and there is the green flag. Waited a little bit for it, and Abner Acosta, what a jump by Acosta. Sink's going to follow him through on the bottom. Looks like it was a little bit of a slow start for Holly. He's going to fall to third, at least for the moment.
Yeah, it just looks like, I mean, the bottom's going to get such a massive run. Wherever the leader is, you're going to see it. And Thomas Sink was right there, ready to hit the gas, ready to get through the gear shifts, and it finds himself in second, passing up. But can we say, you know, how good Abner Acosta's been over these past couple weeks? Because he's led, I would say, 70% of the laps.
I would assume he led every single lap at IRP last week, if I remember correctly. So yeah, he's probably got a very high percentage of laps led here. But Thomas Sink up there in the draft with him. Holly trying to make the bottom work. Everybody's spread out. It almost looks like a socially distanced pace lap here, but no. Thomas Sink does hang on to second. Holly still trying to fight in the bottom. But do you want to be on the bottom early here? Do you want to be the driver who's fighting really aggressively down there? Or do you want to be a guy like Thomas Sink who's probably just able to ride up there?
No, I mean, it all depends, right? If you can get clear and you know you can get clear on the bottom, take it. But you're in a position right here where you're not going to get the 2-for-1 special. This isn't KFC. You're not going to go down to the bottom and make the pass all the way work on Abner Acosta and on Thomas Sink unless you can side draft in your Bradley Holly and Thomas Sink says, hey, I'll follow you. I'm tired of following this 5 guy. But you have to clear yourself. The more laps you're down there, the more you just destroy your tires. And a guy like Abner Acosta is up there is like, okay, go for it. I'll just sit up here and ride. But hey, you know what? Hollingsworth, he's going to take it 3 wide here for second.
He's going to try and take it 3 wide in the top, but unfortunately the road runs out for him there. Holly takes the lead with help from his teammate Thomas Sink. That's the problem when you're Abner Acosta up here. You've got no teammate, and Acosta gets turned by Thomas Sink. Hollingsworth is involved. Hollingsworth goes flying. Acosta gets pummeled by Ryan Traver, and we've got calamity here at the back of the field. That is disastrous. And our championship leader, the guy who's dominated for the last couple weeks, he's not going to finish.
Oh, no. Oh, that was gnarly. Look at this. This is crazy. Side draft gone wrong, I think. Oh, he just went up just a tad bit trying to make the lane. Look at that flight.
Jeez. He gets flung in the air. That's the second time in 2 weeks we've seen somebody get stuck in the safer barrier and just get flung up into the air. Abner Acosta, lucky he kind of ghosted a little bit there. Didn't collect Christian Swenson or anybody else behind. But let's watch Jeff Hollingsworth here. There's absolutely nothing he could do there. Nothing he could do.
Look at that. What a landing. Did he land it? Did he land it?
I think Tom Amasi actually hit him as he was landing. And there we go. He did land it. Well done, Jeff, if that's any solace. Oh, and Tom Amasi might have got hit by Ryan Trapper as well. Let's ride on board with Tom here. Came down pit road to get a little bit of extra fuel. Maybe stay out of any drama here on the restart. He sees a truck in space. Oh, my goodness. I think he might have phased through him there. I think he might have been lucky. And then where's Ryan Traver? Ryan! And he avoids Ryan Traver too. So Tom Amasi, I think, has come out of that unscathed, but I think that white truck might be discolored in some places.
As crazy as it sounds, this is the second time today I've seen a truck here at Michigan fly. Sea open, truck flies over a person. He got a 4X, landed on another person like Ryan Newman in the Daytona 500, gave him 8X, killed both of them, was done. This is crazy action. We're 9 laps in. We've already had a space cadet for RaceSpot.
Well, we've got some legitimate pit strategy here. Drivers who don't have damage and drivers who do have damage alike have brought it down pit road. Tom Amasi is back down pit road to get a little bit more extra fuel. Dylan Schmidt, Barron Hilton, Dalton Geyer, CM Pennington, Nicholas Hunter, Garrett Austin, Mike Witt, and Steve Loving are back down pit road, as is Mike Richter as well. So it's almost like half and half here. There's 15 drivers who have stayed out, but we've got quite a few more behind who are playing the fuel strategy game, and you can't really play the tire strategy game after we've run, 1.5 green flag laps, but if you're at the back, like I said, might as well come down anyway.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing something off sequence with somebody else. There's no sense in going all race long following the same people every week. Do something different. Flip it around. If you're a guy like Panzarella, a guy like Papineau or McGarvey, Gilmore, Amasi, do something different. Come down and pit. Be off sequence. You're going to get 30, I believe it's 35, 36 laps on a tank of fuel. Your tires are going to be about 20, and you got to fight about 10 laps on them before you come down pit road. Okay, you're 10 in, and you've ran most under caution. So you come down, you're not burning as much fuel. You'll clutch it around this caution lap. You'll take lap 11, you go to a lap 42, 43. My math stinks. Probably does in the chat, but you have an opportunity. That leaves you a 20-lap window while everybody else is going to be one stop. You're going to go circulate some laps, hope that a caution comes out, come back down pit lane. You're ahead of them. Yeah, net gain, you might jump maybe 5-10 spots on it.
Preparing to go for a restart here. It is Bradley Holly back on pole, or back in the lead position at least. I don't know if it counts as a pole position when you're leading to a restart. We'll have to ask a statistician or something about that. But he's got a new friend on the outside. It's the friend who helped him take the lead. Thomas Sink will restart second. Doug Evans still hanging out in second. I mean third. Of course, he's still third. Danny Cervantes will be fourth. Austin Hunter fifth. Medina, Westerfield, Zemke, Lawrence, and Powell. A lot of those names were drivers who weren't allowed to qualify or qualify to the back of the field. So that just goes to show how jumbled up we've gotten in these crazy first few laps. Not a lot of them have been green, but we're going to restart here on lap number 11 when we cross the line. And hopefully this is when we start to get a little bit of running going. So through turn 4, the iRacing sedan pace car once again is going to crawl through turn 4. It will pull down pit road, and Bradley Holly will wait for a very, very long time. It's a very, very long curved front straight here, but one of these seconds, he's going to blast off here, and he's probably going to hope that Thomas Sink, his teammate, can join him down there in the bottom. Green flag is back out at Michigan, and there goes Sink slotting in down there at the bottom. It's a team game up top. Holly, Sink, and Cervantes all working together.
Yeah, when you said blast off, I instantly started thinking Jimmy Neutron. That's a pretty good one here. But yeah, teammates are going to work together. Cervantes is going to go side by side for third. You see a 3 wide a little bit further back. You fan out here, and you're going to see some wild restarts, especially when we get later on in this race. You see here, you have the 35, the 24, the 9, all attempting to run different lanes. One lane's faster than the other, and it's the outside lane. Because look at this momentum that 24 is going to get all the way around. If he doesn't get chopped off, he's gonna make a couple passes.
Sean Powell in that shiny blue and yellow truck is pushing Jose Medina in the 24 down the front straight here, as Austin Hunter kind of trying to figure out which line he's going to go with. He essentially runs the middle of the track, and he's able to clear Doyle Lawrence in the 9. Jim Westerfield and Medina still side by side. It's a little bit of a train forming for the moment, but Powell is definitely getting aggressive here, as is Westerfield as well. They're both trying to run the bottom, and Powell is just pushing and shoving his way forward.
Yeah, track position is the name of the game. I mean, if you can run up front here, you would rather play defense than have to be on offense. And that's the way I've been so far racing in the C Open. I want to lead every lap, and people give me grief. Terry, why do you want to lead every lap? Because that means I'm not running with people who are going to run me over. Like, I don't have to focus on anything else. I just run my lane, and you have to find your way around me. And you see the 35 here at Westerfield. He's running the outside lane, saving some tires, allowing the momentum to be carried all the way through down the back straightaway. And everybody's running the high lanes, so the draft is huge as he gets right behind Austin Hunter here. Moves his way to P6, and he's looking for more as he runs a different lane.
Lots of different lanes in operation here. Westerfield on the high line, Hunter in the middle line, Lawrence kind of on the bottom line. That's a pretty good thing about Michigan. There are multiple legitimate grooves here. We haven't seen that in some previous weeks, but it does truly seem like, at least at this stage in the race, we've got multiple grooves to play with, and nobody seems to decide which one's the best.
Yeah, I mean, look at what it's making Austin Hunter do. It's making him second guess if he can come up, and that's the biggest key around here is make them think you're doing something else. Make them think that you're there, because the spotter's going to say clear. Well, by the time they say clear, you're not clear. So it's like Daytona Talladega. I'm clear. Well, you go to act like you're clear. You're not clear, you're going to the wall. And for Austin Hunter, all he's doing is just peeking a nose in there, and he's making that driver pitch to the bottom as he gets right here next to Doug Evans. He's going to continuously sit here and hope that these drivers in front of him, like Cervantes, gives him that draft, or a guy like Sean Powell pushes him at the right time. Just don't push in the corners and don't push off the initial exit of the corner. Wait till you get those things straight, because they're going to wreck really quick.
Doug Evans fades up just a little bit, but Westerfield's able to clear him. And Sean Powell is really on the move here. He's almost clear of Doug Evans already, but he has been the most aggressive driver at the start of this race. He's made up more positions than anybody else from the back of the field, from being able to unqualify, or from being not able to qualify. I don't think unqualify is a word, but Sean Powell is up into the top 5 here. He's been aggressive very early in this stint, Terry. We've only run like 5 green flag laps now. I have a feeling he's going to have to start worrying about tires in that 5th place position. He's been aggressive. He's got track position, but it could all fall away from him.
Well, I mean, Sean Powell, no offense if he's watching this or one of his teammates, he's aggressive. But that's what you want. You want a driver that's aggressive. Me and you talked pre-race. If this is fixed sets, so I'm talking open sets for a second. You can go wide open here. You can go wide open for 5 to 10 laps, maybe 20, depends on what the set's like. If it's a tighter set, you can go about 20 laps wide open. You know, you'll never burp it, but you're going to burn your tires up. You're going to spend 10 laps on razor's edge until you either get a caution or you get a pit stop. Sean Powell doesn't care. What does he have to lose? He didn't qualify. He drove through the field, missed 2 wrecks. He's sitting in 5th. Burn them things up, because if the way this is played out, well, we've seen 2 cautions already. What makes him think another caution isn't going to happen? That he just can't push it. So go up there, burn those things up, get them hollering and screaming. Just, you got to hope and pray that it doesn't bite you.
Of course, the master of tire conservation, Abner Acosta, the tire wizard, we dubbed him on Sunday after winning at the Indy Road course. He's gone. So it was an Abner disaster. The tire wizard's been slain. So we don't have to worry about him now. And now we look through the rest of the field. Who's going to take over the reins? We know Bradley Holly's great at saving tires, but who else? Thomas Sink, Danny Cervantes, maybe Jim Westerfield, Sean Powell, anybody? Who's going to take up the reins here? Who's going to be the kindest on their equipment? It seems like we're going for a pretty long green flag run, at least for the moment. Things have spread out. Who's going to take over those reins?
Well, yeah, we're spread out, obviously, at the moment, but we're getting to that part of the run where, you know, now we've put about 12, 13 laps, coming to 14 laps on these tires, and it's hot. The track temp's not going down. The aggression level's not going down. They're wide open. There's not a whole lot of drivers who are actually burping that throttle, getting it to the bottom, allowing it to roll for a second, planting it, getting the gas. That's not happening. They're wide open in a single file line, continuously pushing on edge. They're letting the back end turn that car. The back end's turning the front. They're not allowing all 4 tires to turn the truck. They're just letting it kick. And you see it here. They're going to come off this corner. Look how sideways some of these drivers look just coming off the exit of the corner. And that's only going to get worse. So I wouldn't be surprised to start seeing in the next 5 laps a driver get super sideways, get loose, have to save it, check up the field, and nobody else is going to lift. You're not giving anything in the PRL. You're taking it because you have to beat Bradley Holly. You have to beat Abner Acosta. You're not going to keep losing to these guys.
Bad news for a fan favorite driver, or at least a booth favorite driver. Nicholas Hunter's had to bring it down pit road. He says he's down on horsepower by 300 RPM, 4 minutes of optional repairs in that truck. I don't remember what happened to Nicholas Hunter. I don't believe he was involved in that huge accident with Jeff Hollingsworth in the air. So something's happened to Nicholas Hunter, and unfortunately, he might have been cursed by our preference for him.
Yeah, you can blame us. Blame the booth. I think we can. I don't know if we blamed the entire booth, but Connery doesn't count, our producer. It's technically our fault, me and you, because we were with him. But Sean Powell jumped to 4th, made the pass on the bottom there, coming to the start-finish line. This really does look like the 2005 Talladega 500, where it's just single file, choo-choo training in the middle line.
I would prefer if Jim Westerfield repassed Sean Powell here, because that would mean we had 25, 35, 45 in succession. But That's been flipped around here, and I don't think Sean Powell is very interested in numerology here. He's moving forward now. Danny Cervantes is the next on his list. Remember, Sean Powell did win this season. He won the season opener, his first ever race in PRL competition. He was victorious at Nashville in the most dominant of fashions. Hasn't quite had the same luck. He's had a few instances. He's been taken out. He's taken himself out. But this has been a great performance so far in the first third of this race. He's down in the bottom third of the track. He wants third from Danny.
Yeah, you remember when I talked about don't go down to the bottom and burn your tires up unless you can actually do it? That was perfect. Drove down, made it stick, made the 25 of Danny Cervantes drive up the track a little bit further than he wanted to. Probably made him crack the throttle a tad bit, but he just went down there and drove it in, made it stick, scared the guy above him. But Sean Powell's on a mission. He's on a massive mission. Won at Nashville. He just has not had the luck that I think we thought coming out of Nashville was, yep, this is our guy. And it just hasn't been the same. So good run so far. Let's not jinx him.
Well, you can never tell when you're going to jinx someone, when you're just going to compliment someone. But this could very well be the week that Sean Powell finally turns it around. Just put a bookend on the Austin Hunter situation. He says he was involved in that incident with Jeff Hollingsworth and all the calamity that ensued after that. So bad luck for Nicholas Hunter, but he'll be back. Hopefully with that Precision Racing League Purified Racing Liquid livery again. But we've got more important things on track here. Sean Powell is continuing his run through the field. If he's used up his tires, he is not feeling the consequences of it yet, because he's gotten to the inside of Thomas Sink here, down the back straight. He's not going to fall in line. I think definitely expect him to go down to the bottom. He takes a peek. Thomas Sink's going to hang on for the moment, but Sean Powell's progress is not ending anytime soon.
Well, he faked high, made Thomas Sink go high, swung it back low, got underneath, couldn't make it, well, he could make it stick, but he couldn't make the pass stick because everybody else went with Thomas Sink. Nobody wants to get out of line, but he's playing this like it is a plate race where you go up, you side draft, you pull them back, you go. It's working to perfection in this single file line, because right now, I think if you go all the way back, I believe that's the 98 of Sumner. It's all the way back at the back end of this field, of this pack right here. And then you got to go all the way back 2 more seconds to the 11 truck of Swenson. It's a 12 truck breakaway at the moment. So you're not really losing a whole lot if anything happens.
That was CM Pennington, the 44, going by the wayside in the lapped truck there, the maroon truck. He's a lap down. Steve Loving's a lap down. Dalton Geyer's a lap down. And Garrett Austin are 3 laps down on track, but everybody else on track on the lead lap. But like Terry said, it's a 12-car breakaway up front here. And then you got to look a little bit further back for Christian Swenson, who, of course, is riding damaged after getting hit on lap 1 by James Dewar, who shoved Steve Loving into him. But the race up front, it continues. It rages on. Powell's going to try again. 45 v 48. Looks a little bit better on the run through 3 and 4 this time, but he's still not going to be able to clear Sink, who's got help from his teammate up top.
Yeah, he's not making this pass unless Cervantes gets behind him, tucks in, and gets it done. You'll see the outside momentum. He might look clear when he gets here into the center of 1, but he's not going to be clear. You're going to see the run that Thomas Sink's going to get here from the center. He'll get Bradley Holly's draft down the back straightaway, and here goes the 45. Caution's out. Who cares? Let's rack it back up.
Dalton Geyer is down pit road. I don't believe he was involved, unless he was the one who brought out the caution. It's a bit of a mystery caution here. There's no cars that are immediately wrecked, but let's take a look at what happened here. Dalton Geyer down there in the apron. Did he blow an engine or something, trying to bring it back to the pits? I have no idea what happened to Dalton Geyer. Now let's see. That's Steve Loving. Steve Loving in the 27 right ahead. Both damaged trucks who got lapped, who brought it down pit road. Oh, yeah, that popped. That was a big pop.
That brought out to caution? He was all the way to the wall at that moment, and that brought the caution out?
Apparently. Michigan cautions are very, very weird, because, yeah, he was trying to pull it down, he was trying to tow, and it triggered the caution. So a little bit of a phantom caution from an engine explosion from Dalton Geyer. But you know who this works out really well for, I think? I think this works out really well for Sean Powell, because he's made all of his progress. He doesn't have to do a long run anymore.
Yeah, and everybody's going to come pit. I mean, you potentially at this moment, I think you're safe because you should get 36 because that's my mark in the open races, and there's really not a stop in the fixed. So I would imagine that they should be good to go here because my math is somewhat good, and this would put them going green at 30. So yeah, this should be the one and only pit stop unless a caution comes out in the next 10 or 15 laps, and everybody's going to come put a set of tires on it and then run it to the end. But this could be the one and only stop.
And this could be where somebody finally figures out a way how to pass Bradley Holly here. Holly brings it down into his box, as does literally every other truck in the field. Doug Evans either missed his pit stall or greatly undershot his pit stall. Either way, he has come to a stop. Kevin McGarvey comes to a stop as well. Now we wait. 4 tires, full tank of fuel for just about everybody, for absolutely everybody, I should say. And Powell's going to beat Cervantes and sink out. He's going to restart alongside Bradley Holly here.
Ooh, yeah, he is. That's quick. He's up 24 spots, by the way. For the fans at home that haven't kept up with that, didn't get to qualify. Started in the back. He's in second. And he wasn't just he took whatever on pit road. No, he drove to the front, like literally went through the entire field, dodged 2 wrecks, and got to third, and was fighting for second. Like he's got some speed in that 45 today.
And you know who else this is really good for? This is good for all those drivers who lost the 12 truck breakaway. Christian Swenson, Stacy Hunter, Mike Witt, all up many spots here, and they are all back in the lead pack here. We've packed everybody back up, and suddenly it's what, a 23 car race on the lead lap again.
Yeah, but yeah, they caught the field, but they lost the field for a part of a reason. You know, it's the leaders were racing. There was a lot of raciness going on. They lost it because either A, they got too fancy back there trying to race. If you're gonna keep it, just try to keep it 2x2. Go down to the inside, train up. You know, get half the field. 12 of the drivers go down to the bottom. 12 of the drivers get to the outside, and you're gonna make some hay. But the only reason they kind of lost it is one tried to pass the other and just continuously stayed side by side. You can't continuously do that when the top 12 is single file and you've got 13th and 14th just sitting there side by side drafted all the way through. You're just going to let them dip out from you.
Prepared to restart here. We'll restart to do lap number 31. So that will be a 35 lap run to the finish. We believe everybody can make it on fuel under green. If there's a green-white checker at the end, though, we might have to start worrying about that, but we will cross that bridge when we come to it. It's still Holly up front. He won the race off pit road. Sean Powell made up quite a few positions over the course of tonight. 24 spots up. He'll be in second, and that's a pair of Whataback Racing teammates in Sink and Cervantes, third and fourth. Another Whataback driver in Austin Hunter is fifth. Then Zemke, Westerfield, Evans, Papineau, and Doyle Lawrence will be the top 10 coming to this restart. The iRacing sedan pace car for the 4th time tonight, if I'm counting correctly, pulls off, pulls down pit road. It's 2 blue trucks up front. It's the blue truck that's been up front all night. Bradley Holly leading us to the green flag. But something tells me that Sean Powell wants this lead, and he's going to go for it. Green flag is out at Michigan. We are racing once more for the second half of this race.
Yeah, and that time you saw the 25 get a better restart. Him and Thomas Sink. They got the restart earlier over Bradley Holly when Abner Acosta was the leader. And now look at this. Sean Powell, he started second. He's falling. And he's already going to fall down to 4th here. He's going to get the run, try to stay in 3rd. We'll see what Thomas Sink does. Does he stay behind Jim Westerfield? It looks like he will. He'll stay behind the 35, and he'll go down to the bottom, try to roll it, and see what the 45 does there side by side for 3rd.
And what I failed to mention when I was recapping the top 10 there, Jim Westerfield is also a Whataback driver. Sean Powell is in the worst possible situation here. Holly, Cervantes, Westerfield, Sink, and Hunter are all of various Whataback racing squads here. So they were all working together here. Sean Powell's all on his lonesome. His only teammate in the field, Christian Swenson's down in 11th. Richard Regan Jr. not here tonight. So he's got a whole team scheming against him. How do you even fight against that?
You do exactly what he was already doing. dropping out of line. The only thing that Sean Powell can hope for is you stay single file to the end, and then you just play major defense from there. Or you hope that some of these waterback drivers potentially get loose, lose it off the exit, get taken out. And I'm not saying that. I don't want them to get taken out, but that's what you have to hope for. That's what you plan. Like, there's no other option for him to win this race in a packed track like this other than either A, green flag pit stops, they get wrecked, or they take themselves out. And the only way you're going to win this race is feeling 45.
Jim Westerfield is the only driver in the top 6 here who doesn't have a win in PRL competition, so that's going to make him especially hungry, I think, here in these next 32 laps. And he's hungry right here to the inside of Sean Powell. 35 v45. They're back in order. 25, 35, 45. Westerfield just barely clear of Sean Powell there. And if Powell was hungry on that previous stint, looks like Westerfield's the hungriest right now.
I'm hungry right now. I had a banana and peanut butter before we came on the air. I'm still hungry. So I could definitely eat. 2 potted meat sandwiches, didn't do it for me. But that slide job right there, that's something that we're going to have to bring into the fold, because I wasn't expecting, in the middle part of the race to see somebody slide and to go down to the bottom and just work his way right in front. At 35 of Jim Westerfield, he don't care. Danny Cervantes, hey, you're in my way. I'm coming for second. I want to lead some laps, and he's got a non-teammate right behind him in Sean Powell. He's going to work with him until he gets into the lead.
And he's got a teammate ahead, Bradley Holly, who's got to decide which teammate am I going to help. Am I going to help Cervantes on the top, or am I going to help Westerfield on the bottom? He elects to stay up top, I think, just to preserve himself. And side by side through turns 1 and 2 go Cervantes and Westerfield. The 25 and the 35. Sean Powell's got a great run. Elects not to send it 3 wider. He does. Down the back straight. Powell is getting aggressive here. He's going to go 3 wide into turn 3. Down on the very, very bottom, all the way down to the yellow line. 3 wide with Westerfield and Thomas Sink. It's hard to go 3 wide. There is plenty of room, and they've gotten away with it, at least for the moment, but this is not going away. Sink trying to fight back on the high line. Westerfield's almost clear of him, and Powell eventually has to back in. But that was scary stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's super scary. You think about a hot, slick racetrack. I think we're still sitting at about 110, 111 track temp. Yeah, the tires are fresh, whatever, but those seams get hotter and hotter. If most people don't know how seams work in racing and in real life, because, well, you begin to get wheel spin here. You see the seams that connect in between. When those things get hot, they become just a slipstream. It becomes like a slip and slide out here. You try to roll over them and change lanes, you're 90% of the time you're going to wreck. We saw it at New Hampshire. They touched the seam, they spun out. Well, here you are here going 3 wide. You're going to touch the seam at some point in time, but Jim Westerfield, he's going for second. He's going to get there, and then there was almost contact back there behind him with Powell and Hunter.
Powell is just kind of falling through the field right now. He started on the front row. He's down to 6th. He's kind of fishing around a little bit back there. He's lost the spot to Hunter, or he will lose the spot to Hunter. Doyle Lawrence has gotten by him. And there's a very hungry Eric Papineau, Adam Zemke, Doug Evans, and Christian Swenson still in this train as well. Looks like Sumner is at risk of losing them. I don't think he will. Once again, it's a 12-car breakaway here. 12-truck breakaway, I should say. But things are still trying to decide themselves here. Powell can't figure out a way to go, and Cervantes is trying to go for the lead on the high side.
Racing everywhere. We got all of my monitors working at once, trying to see all the angles from this track, and you've got side-by-side potential for the lead. You've got side-by-side for 4th. You have another challenge. Here comes Cervantes. He's going to work to the bottom. He's going to try the side draft, dip it down to the middle lane, make sure Bradley Holly stays up there, and Cervantes clears him. He's going to get him here through the center, but he's not going to get him off exit as Bradley Holly comes roaring back. Oh, he said, I'm going to push you now instead.
Holly alongside again. Cervantes is the first driver not named Bradley Holly or Abner Acosta to lead a lap tonight. But Holly is not going away. He's got the high line now. On the outside, he's got the momentum. And it looks like Holly, as soon as he lost the lead, he's going to take it back. Cervantes not going to give up easily, but he might just have to, just by the laws of physics and the conservation of momentum. Bradley Holly, he lost the lead for 1 lap, but he seems like he might be unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, he's fast, and this comes into tire preservation. This comes into just pure skill. pure skill, pure talent. That's 90% of what this comes down to. You got 10% luck that comes into it, where you have to miss the wrecks, you have to save everything, you have to not make a mistake. Well, Bradley Holly loses the lead for all of a lap, and then he goes right back around to Jim Westerfield fighting with Doyle Lawrence here in that number 9. Beautiful, beautiful silver scheme, I would say. And there's so much racing happening. I'm kind of getting lost here.
Looks like Westerfield is starting to fall back just a little bit, and I'm starting to wonder, is this what we talked about at the start of the broadcast, just using up your stuff too early? Westerfield seems to be falling. Powell fell early, but that was on the short run. Now that we are going to start to get into the long run here, we've run quite a few green laps on this stint. Is this the time when everything flips over, and is this the time when Sean Powell starts to show all that promise he did in the last stint?
I mean, he's saving his tires. He hasn't ran the bottom lane like Jim Westerfield. And the problem with what the 35's doing, his teammates aren't there to help him. He's not getting that top 3 come down to the bottom and allow him to pull. He's all by his lonesome there. So while it is, a faster way around this racetrack, he's not getting the draft help. He's not getting but maybe an inch or 2 off of it. You see that now. Here we are on the front stretch. They're going to try to pull him clear of Doyle, but they don't realize that the 45 of Sean Powell is all over the back bumper of the 9, and he's trying to push him to 3rd.
Almost pushed Doyle Lawrence into the wall there, but there's contact between the back row teammates. Cervantes saves it. That was a remarkable save, but the 48 and the 25, the back row teammates make contact, and they're still making contact. We saved it. Christian Swenson gets turned into the inside wall, and that's heavy damage. It's not going to be a caution. Everybody's still rolling, but that wreck took about 3 corners to resolve itself.
Hey, remember what I said not too long ago? The only way Sean Powell was going to win this race is if they take each other out. Here we go. You see Danny Cervantes here. It's just going to be slight contact. They're going to work up here. They'll have Doyle Lawrence there. And then guess what? The 48 is Sink. He has to move out of the way. Innocent bystander to the 25, Danny Cervantes. He's just there. And that was a product of Sean Powell pushing the 9 to get so much momentum going into 1. He had nowhere to go with it but forward. So the laws of physics play in once again here at Michigan.
And then Doug Evans and Christian Swenson pick up pieces, but we've got to change for the race lead. Doyle Lawrence not too distracted by that incident. He is going at Bradley Holly here. Side by side. Is the 9 going to be the next truck to retake the lead, to take back the lead from Bradley Holly? He's on the outside. The outside line has worked, and there he goes. He's just going to blow by Bradley Holly. It's like Brad isn't even using any fuel in that truck. That was the easiest move I think I've seen, and Doyle Lawrence is going to take back the lead, but that looked like it was a deliberate loss of lead for Bradley Holly.
That was a power move. I mean, that was an absolute power move by the 9 of Doyle Lawrence. Broke up the teammates, broke them up. Now they're sitting back just a little further in 7th and 8th. Now it's a race for the lead. Now it's a race for who can take this and who can go further. You see Sean Powell trying to work down there, but it's 9, 184, 35, 45 down at the bottom. He's now trying his approach of side drafting and sliding. We'll see if he can slide the 35 of Westerfield here going into 1. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to. He almost thought he was clear, but you ain't clear, buddy.
Lap traffic going to come into this as well. You see those trucks at the head of your screen. They'll be coming up a little bit later. Powell down to the bottom now on Jim Westerfield. Is now the time where Sean Powell has decided to pounce. He's almost 3 wide between Holly and Westerfield and himself. He's almost clear of Westerfield, but he's got no help down there on the bottom. No trucks want to go down and help him. Holly's going to help one of his teammates, Austin Hunter, as well. He's going to try and get by, but Powell's going to have to slot in up on the top in 4th. And he's going to have to find a new way to get by Jim.
I think he needs to do the same approach he just had. Shove somebody else up there and make noise. You're going to make noise by giving somebody a massive push. You see here, it looks like Sean Powell's going to get to the outside of Westerfield. That was interesting. Just put his nose there. He said, hey, I'm here. You're going to move. You wouldn't let me get you on the bottom. I'm going to move to the outside. I'm going to pass you my way, take your lane away from you. But look, 3 trucks right here, lap traffic-wise. They're going to have to, they're going to have to maneuver around. And they're snaking on the front straightaway.
Doyle Lawrence's last win came 4 seasons ago, 2021 Season 3. He hasn't won since then. Bradley Holly, of course, has 1 win this season at Pocono. Sean Powell won the season opener at Nashville. And Jim Westerfield has never won in this series. Austin Hunter won 2 seasons ago. Adam Zemke's won this season. Danny Cervantes won a few seasons ago as well. So a lot of different changes, a lot of different ways to win races, and a few drivers who have never won. But there's a change for second. Sean Powell, you just saw it on your screen. That bright blue truck, the Liqui truck, clear Bradley Holly up into second.
Still looks focused. I mean, Bradley Holly still has the eye of the tiger, and he's going to try to work his way back around. But you have to save some tire here. There's no way that you can't. You kind of hear him lifting a little bit, and then, oh yeah, he's loose. Yeah, these drivers, they've hung them out there. They're sliding. The grip has went away. There's no more rubber left on these virtual trucks for them to at least grasp onto something. But Bradley Holly doesn't care. He sends it back down into 3, tried to get a run on the 45. The 45 doesn't care. He's getting a run on the 9, and what a hell of a run.
Sean Powell, is he going to be able to lead at the line? He's not, but they're going to be side by side. Doyle Lawrence, Sean Powell, the 45. Is this finally his chance to take the lead back? He's going to have to take the bottom here. Not the optimal line in 1. Doyle Lawrence has been so strong on the outside, and it looks like Doyle will be able to hang on for the moment, but Sean Powell is not going anywhere. Lawrence clear of Sean Powell down the back straight, but he's got a little bit of side draft here, and he will be able to make sure Doyle Lawrence isn't still clear of him coming into turn 3 here. Still side by side. They've been side by side for an entire lap. Bradley Holly hoping and praying that they come together somehow, just like the way he won the MX-5 race on Monday. They sort everything out, and Sean Powell's the leader.
Yeah, and that was a really good move. He powered it to the bottom. I kind of thought that I would see Doyle Lawrence, get a little bit more momentum on that outside, but he didn't. He washed up just a tad bit. Looked like he burped it and was trying to save some tire.
Contact with Holly Lawrence.
Save it, save it.
Doyle saved it, but he hit the wall. It was half save, it was half wall. There just wasn't enough ground for Doyle Lawrence to save that without hitting the wall, and that is tragedy. That was the best race of Doyle Lawrence's season. This was the most likely chance at win number 2 so far, and he just makes contact with Bradley Holly there. I think we'll have to look at another angle to see who we could really blame for that, but that is just so unfortunate for the driver, the number 9.
I'm blaming Hugo regardless. This is Hugo's fault. He's not here. He might be watching. This is Hugo's fault. They just made contact. We'll blame that on racing, or at least I will. It was just racing. But biggest lead we've seen so far, by the way, Sean Powell. We haven't seen a driver pull 3/10 away. He just had it, and then he comes back down, and now he's hoping Jim Westerfield will be his best friend and race Bradley Holly every single corner to maybe give him an opportunity to extend this lead with 14 to go when they cross the line.
Remember when Danny Cervantes and Thomas Sink got into each other and lost their position in the race? Look who's still in 5th and 6th and still in this pack. I don't think we can count them out for this race win either, but there might be some love lost between both of them.
Well, I don't know. Somebody had to be in their ear telling them, hey, look, you're teammates. There's racing, and then there's, intentional blatant racing. And, well, that wasn't intentional, but Bradley Holly's intent blocking at 35 of Jim Westerfield. He come all the way down the track, went right across his nose, and somehow they didn't wreck it. But, it's just a breakaway again. You've got, 1 through 7 under one, now it's 1 through 6 under a second between one another. So this is anybody's ball game here all the way back to 10.
Sean Powell, though, just continuing to hold this 3/10 gap. It's like Holly can't do anything about it, which is unexpected. Abner Acosta's the tire wizard. Bradley Holly might just be the tire apprentice because he's just as good as Abner Acosta is at saving those tires. But tonight, it's not working out. He seems to be struggling here. We saw him get loose before, and right now, he's got absolutely nothing for Sean Powell, and he's just kind of holding up the train here.
Well, think about where Sean Powell won. He won at Nashville to open the season. That is a tire monster. All they do is eat tires. It just chews them up. Every time you make an inch of a move with the wheel, you're scrubbing about 2 or 3% of your tire life away. Well, here we are at Michigan, a hot, greasy surface. The track's starting to cool down just a tad bit because we got a little cloud cover starting to roll over this speedway. But, you know, it's allowing a guy like Sean Powell to get it going, but he also had help. He had Jim Westerfield right there battling Bradley Holly. But now you got all of these drivers in a line, and they're just getting the toe off of Powell. This race ain't over by a long shot.
And all of these drivers in this train of trucks behind Sean Powell, at least in the top 5, they're all Whataback drivers. Bradley Holly, Overdrive, Westerfield and Hunter in the back row squad, and Cervantes and Sink, who's now lost a spot to Papineau. They're both on the back row Whataback squad. So there's 5 teammates here. They could work together. It's not Daytona where you can form up a 5-car pack and just jump Sean Powell, but they can certainly work some momentum and form up a line if they so choose to work together. They've had a little bit of trouble doing that before tonight, but if they work together, there could be an opportunity for them.
Friends, how many of us have them? Friends. You know, that's what you need to be singing, because you got to have friends. You know, you got to have them, just like Shrek. You know, you got to have them. So we'll see, because now look, here comes Danny Cervantes. He tries to undercut Westerfield because he thinks that he's faster, so he's going to go. He's like, hey, you're not pushing him. You're not doing anything. Let me have a crack at him. Let me go push Bradley Holly. But Sean Powell goes all the way down to the apron. Weird flex, bro, but okay. He holds it, and he lost a little bit. He lost some time there sweeping all the way down the track.
I think Sean Powell might be confused. I think he might think he's driving an Indy car there, because that's an Indy car move to block all the way down there to the white line. Either way, who am I to criticize? It's working very well for him. Holly's brought the gap down just a little bit, but it's still 0.2 of a second. He hasn't been able to build up the momentum to actually attempt a move, but there's only 9 laps to go now. 18 miles to go in this race. It's flown by, and Holly's got to start thinking, I can't just run second here all night. I've got to find some way to at least attempt to get by.
His best option is that the 25 and the 35 work together. Stop trying to play slingshot with each other. This isn't Talladega Nights. Get in a line. One push one down the straightaway. Let that driver go up and push Bradley Holly. Get Bradley Holly a run. Let him pull out. Everybody pull out with him, top or bottom. You have to make that decision as a strategy now. Top or bottom. Which line are we going to take? Are we going to pull the Sean Powell approach? Fake high, look low. We're going to look low, fake low, look high. You have to be talking that as your teammates, but you also have to think, if you're Cervantes or Westerfield, Bradley Holly doesn't need another win. He's got one. So, are you going to be selfish? Are you going to take it? What are you going to do? I'm selfish. I'm taking the win. I'm pushing Bradley Holly to the lead, getting myself clear of Sean Powell, and I'm wrecking Bradley Holly, and I'm taking the win.
Cervantes trying to form up a run there through turn 4, but no. Goes high, at least peaks high, looks for a little bit of fresh air on the nose of that truck, but it just looks so similar to what it looked like on those previous laps. He peaks a little bit to the inside of Bradley Holly there, but I don't think that was a legitimate attempt at a move. And look who's coming into the scene, Charles Sumner at the back of this train. He's just been hanging out there this whole time. One time he was in 14th, now he's all the way up to 8th. He's a Car Ramrod driver. Car Ramrod works with Whataback in the PRL MX5 series on Mondays, but right now he's his own driver, and he's just kind of looking what's going on ahead and hoping that maybe there will be some pieces for him to pick up in 7 laps time.
I gotta agree with the guy out there in the chat, War Bovin. Powell doesn't need friends. I agree with you. He really doesn't need friends. He's the fastest car. He's the fastest truck on the field, and he's the leader, for heaven's sakes. He's running a 41.45. The draft guys are running 41.41s. So, yeah, fresh tires and enough fuel to get him to the finish. But think about this. Does he have enough fuel? Does the drivers back here, does a Charles Sumner, did he sit back here on purpose to save fuel, to clutch it, to use the draft to rip him around this 2-mile track, just to potentially go out and win this race and watch everybody else sputter like they did back in the day when this was a fuel conservation race? We got 5 laps to figure this out.
5 laps to go. Holly and Cervantes, this is the closest they've been to Powell and the closest they've been to each other. But again, nothing changes through turns 1 and 2. Powell goes all the way down to the bottom, but he's got a lap truck, and Steve Loving needs to be careful pulling that move through the middle, 3 wide. Danny Cervantes is able to get by Bradley Holly. Holly seems like he's just out of juice because Cervantes drove by him there into turn 3. He now leads this one-back contingent, and he's now on the attack on Sean Powell. Holly, is he going to help him out here? Give him a little bit of a push down the front straight. He's going to try to. Can Cervantes do anything up front here now? He's definitely getting a push from Bradley Holly. He knows what's best for his teammate is probably best for him right now. But again, it's just that 1.7 bubble that nobody seemed to be able to break.
Bradley Holly listening to this broadcast, if you push that 25 up there, you already know Danny Cervantes is aggressive. Sean Powell's aggressive. I don't think either one of these drivers are backing down. You know the driver of the 45 isn't just going to roll over and let you have this lead. And Cervantes is like, hey, I want to win. I want to win as many races as possible in the PRL. You push that 25 up there side by side with the 45, they're going to beat and bang. Jim Westerfield's probably got his eyes wide open and foaming at the mouth thinking, if these two get together here, oh my Lanta, we're gonna have a race to the finish. I might win this race. And this could be huge for the 35.
It's going to be 2 laps to go at the line here. The miles are ticking away. The miles are ticking away as fast as they ever have. Cervantes closing down onto the 45 of Sean Powell, but still not able to break that gap down. I almost wonder, could he be timing a move here for that last lap? He might not want to make the move too early. Or is this just literally an inability to pass? We'll have to wait and see here. 2 laps to go at the line. Can Cervantes make this move? He's running out of time to do it. 4 miles to go.
Oh, he's there. I honestly feel as if all that the 25 is doing is saving just a little bit of something. He's saving a little bit of something in the corners because the 45, for some reason, it isn't really having a whole lot of tire wear. Right? We really haven't seen him sideways. We haven't seen anything crazy. But down the back, off the exit of the corners, Cervantes is there going into the corner. Hey, old Boot Scootin' Boogie could be pulled out here at Michigan. He can send that 45 in turn 3.
We're almost Brooks and done with this race. White flag in the air at Michigan. Can Sean Powell hang on? It's taken until the last lap. Can Danny Cervantes issue any sort of challenge here? He's going to peek to the inside. He's going to send it to the inside. Will he be able to slide up and clear Sean Powell? Not even close, unfortunately. His teammate Bradley Holly's going to get to the outside, and he's almost going to get into the wall on the outside. Holly's not going to be able to make the move. Powell swerving all over the place down the back straight, but in the process, he's just expanding that gap over Danny Cervantes through the final corner. Danny's giving it everything he's got all the way down to the yellow line, but Sean Powell, he's been in control, and from 26th to 1st, Powell wins for the 2nd time in the Precision Racing League.
We're feeling in 3rd. Go, Jim.
And Powell's gonna do a victory drift here through turn 1. Looks a little bit like his incident IRP last week, but from the troubles of last week to the grandest success tonight. It's taken a while for Sean Powell to get back to his winning ways, but he's finally there. And if he can keep this up for the next 3 weeks, he's a little bit further down in the championship than he'd like, but this might just be our 4th championship contender.
I mean, this was a butt-kicking performance. I mean, we're going to a short track, and obviously we've seen, you know, he hasn't really been the strongest on short track. Sorry, buddy, but you haven't. So we'll see. Can he go to Richmond? Can he go to Richmond and show up and show out like he did here tonight? It's another tire-saving place.
Sean Powell doesn't need to save these tires, though. Going for the celebration. That was an unsuccessful attempt at a donut across the line, but I don't think he really cares. He's victorious, and here he goes with the burnouts. The well-deserved burnouts. Wins in race 1 this season and race 7 here at Michigan. And is this the start of a championship challenge? You'll have to follow us here for the next 3 weeks, but as everybody crosses the line here, we're going to take a look at the finishing results once they are loaded in by iRacing. But Sean Powell, the spoils of victory. Not the fastest lap, though. That went to Jim Westerfield in 3rd in that sandwich. Danny Cervantes not quite able to take the lead with that last lap pass, or that last lap attempted a pass. Bradley Holly down to 4th. Austin Hunter is 5th, and Thomas Sink finishes up that Whataback contingent in 6th. Eric Papineau, another solid result for him in 7th, and Charles Sumner was at the tail of that train in 8th. Stacy Hunter, P9, and Adam Zemke, another top 10 for the number 57. Kevin McGarvey It was a solid run. He wished for better. P11, Mike Witt, P12, Amasi, Medina, Panzarella, Lawrence, and Gilmore round out the cars on the lead lap. Doyle Lawrence, of course, fighting for the lead until he got forced into the wall. Doug Evans, bad luck in one of those cautions, and CM Pennington as well got involved. Baron Hilton went 2 laps down. The last of the car Ramrod drivers and the used car lot back here. Steve Loving and Garrett Austin brought it to the finish 7 laps down, but Nicholas Hunter exploded, Dylan Schmidt exploded, Christian Swenson got turned into the wall, Dalton Geyer, we saw his engine expire, Mike Richter, Ryan Traver, Abner Acosta, and Jeff Hollingsworth started the OGR Racing Space program, and James Dewar caused trouble on the start, and Colton Lane did not start at all. That rounds out the 32 truck field for tonight. Let's take a look if there's any drivers who want to talk to us. Of course there are. And of course, our winner, Sean Powell, is waiting in the booth here. Sean Powell, welcome to the booth. It's taking you 6 weeks to match that debut win, but you've done it again. And is this the start of that championship challenge coming back?
Yeah, man, that was a good race there. I hope so. I don't know. I don't know where I'm at in the points. I know last week was a bummer because I spun myself out downshifting wrong. But hopefully it's in the right direction. And if I got enough time, that is, what is left? 3 races left, right?
Yep, 3 races to go.
Yeah. I don't know, man. You got, the Glen, Daytona, or something else in between, I know. But
Richmond, Kentucky, Daytona. That's what's coming up over the course of the next 3 weeks. How are you feeling about all 3 of those?
2 of them feel good. Daytona, who knows? Who knows?
Well, let's talk about the actual race tonight. Let's ignore the championship for the moment. You weren't allowed to qualify tonight because of the incident IRP last week. You started 26th. Did you even think that a win was possible from that far back?
Yeah, I think it was definitely possible of just taking care of my right front there. That was the main thing. And there at the last, they're just trying to break that draft, So that was the struggle, But it all comes down to, I think I passed Dole for the lead, and that's really the turning point of the race.
Well, congrats on your win tonight, and we'll see you next week at Richmond.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the broadcast.
No problem. You certainly make it easy. Sean Powell, your winner for tonight in very, very exciting fashion. He's finally back at the top of the timesheets. Let's see who finished second in this race. It was Danny Cervantes in the number 25. He's talking with Terry.
What up, Danny? It's Terry up here. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Well, we just watched a pretty killer race. You finished P2 tonight, and, did you think about maybe moving him if you had a chance?
I'm not going to say it wasn't on the table, but I definitely wasn't going to do it that way just because I wouldn't feel the greatest about it. But if I could have got maybe just a nose under it, maybe just a little bit of a nudge into 3, maybe could have gotten a little bit upset. Not enough to wreck him, but just enough to move him a little bit. But yeah, definitely try to keep it as clean as possible, though.
So you wasn't going to spin him, but you sure would have rattled his cage.
You could say that, yes.
I like it. So you got a championship momentum building here. You finish P2. You go to Richmond next week. Opportunity to maybe win for the 25?
We'll see. I'm probably going to have to start in the back next week due to the lap 1 incident, but I like Richmond. I like these D-shaped tracks. I tend to do pretty well at them. So hopefully, we can get another win next weekend.
Over, under of a what-a-back driver win in Richmond next week?
I might say we have a pretty good chance. Bradley, Holly, and Tom, they're also pretty good at short tracks. Maybe we can get Mark Kalen show up next week. Maybe he can go up there and ruffle some feathers up with us and see if we can put one of our trucks up in victory lane.
I like what I'm hearing. Any shout-outs for you here this afternoon for your sponsors, for your fans, for anybody out there for you?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for putting on a great broadcast, PRL for putting on a great league, you guys at Waterback for helping me develop as a driver past 2 years, and the hardworking men and women at the post office.
We love it. That's Danny Cervantes, P2 here tonight, Joey Tevin.
Next up, guess who's here? First top 3 of this season. It's old Jimothy Westerfield. Jim Westerfield, easily the best race of your season. You've got to be feeling pretty good about a top 3 tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, especially at my home state track. Definitely glad I could represent it.
So let's talk about that little train we had going. It seemed like it was anybody's race. It was all of you Whataback guys. You had your inter-team teammate Austin Hunter with you, and you had about 5 others of your teammates. Were you guys talking at all? Were you working out moves, or was it every driver for himself?
Yeah, no. Basically, I was just being patient and seeing what they were going to do in front of me, and I was just going to take advantage of any mistake. Being it was a clean race up to that point, I wasn't going to put myself into a bad situation. That's for sure.
So how much did the home race advantage help you tonight? You think it had a legitimate effect?
Oh yeah. I love this track, and I know the line pretty well, and it's a lot of fun to race. That's for sure.
Well, unfortunately, next week we have to leave your home state. We go to Virginia, a little bit further south. We're going to Richmond. How do you feel about Richmond?
Survival. That's going to be key. Survival. Hopefully it'll be a clean race. PRL definitely puts on clean races, so it's not out of the question. But just being in the right place at the right time next week is just as important as this week.
All right, well, congrats on third tonight, and hopefully it's first of many this season.
I appreciate it, and thank you for what you guys do.
Jim Westerfield, P3 tonight in that 35, and the hits keep on coming. Guess who's next? It's a driver who's not used to finishing down in fourth. He's won this season. Bradley Holly. The Whataback Festival continues with Terry.
Yo, Bradley Holly, P4 tonight. Had an opportunity to win. What happened to that car in that last run?
I feel like after the contact with Doyle, I was loose all day, and after that contact, I just started getting tighter and tighter. And then the final lap, man, that's the tightest I felt that truck all week. So it kind of threw me off and killed my momentum.
You go into a short track. Obviously, the disciplines are going to be different. We go from a 2-mile track to, I think Richmond's like a quarter mile or no, half mile, a little bit over half a mile racetrack. So you're going to have to change disciplines. Do you feel like that what you learned last week at IR or Lucas Oil Raceway Park, such a stupid name, it's going to allow you to go into Richmond and maybe go win?
Short tracks, there's several different disciplines you can do. You can't compare Richmond to IRP, in my opinion, because there's more banking. The corners are totally different. It's, IRP is progressive banking and Richmond's not. It's going to be a bottom feeder and trying to just get a good exit on turn 2 to be able to, be competitive and stay off the wall. Short track racing is totally different than what we did today. It's going to take some practice to kind of figure out the pace and try to get another win.
Do you think you're going to win next week?
We'll see. We got tough competition. We got Abner, Sean, Richard. I'm sure it's going to be coming back here soon. Tom, Danny, everybody in the PRL. Tough competition. So lately, the last couple seasons, we don't know who's going to win half the time.
Well, I always like your confidence, and I always enjoy talking to you. You're my favorite red-bearded person. You're the only red-bearded person I know. Ask Bradley Holly P4 tonight.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a fight next week. I have a feeling that hopefully we have some good fights between Sean and everybody else and put on a good show for next week.
Well, we appreciate your time, and Joey, I think you've caught up with Austin Hunter.
Yeah, Brad the Redbeard. I think that's like an ancient English king or something. But yeah, let's talk to Thomas Sink. Actually, have I dragged the wrong driver into the booth? I have. But Thomas Sink, we're going to talk to you before your teammate who was ahead of you in the race. But you finished P6 tonight. A little bit of an incident between you and Danny early on. How did that go? How was that from your perspective?
Yeah, that was on me. They were checking up to save some fuel, and I didn't anticipate it and couldn't get slowed down. And I tried really hard not to get into him. I used the brake. I even felt like I locked him up a bit, but on the replay, it doesn't look like I did. Just poor judgment, poor driving.
Well, we've been talking championship in general with Sean, with Brad, with a few other guys who are all in contention. You've been in third all season. You've been eternally consistent, and the championship leader Abner Acosta ended the race in the wall at about 200 miles per hour tonight. So How are you thinking about that championship with 3 races to go?
However, it really wasn't. That was my fault also. Looks like I just didn't turn in. Made a late turn in, and I got in Abner, and I talked to him already. I apologize. I need to do better. I need to race better. I need to have better solid finishes for it to even be kind of a dream. We'll see. Maybe after Richmond, if I can survive Richmond, I get a decent finish. If I even can contend for a championship.
Well, we wish you good luck at Richmond next week. I'm sure it's going to be difficult for everybody, but hopefully we see you continue this consistent run of finishes.
Thank you.
Congrats, Thomas Sink there, bringing it home in P6. And we got one more, Austin Hunter. I accidentally skipped you over. You finished 5th ahead of your teammate, but you get Terry this time.
Well, you're kind of forced with me now. I'm like the step dad or brother you never wanted, but you're stuck with me. By the way, Austin, I appreciate you for getting the guy in contact with me about the big ass banner that's behind you, because now I'm gonna get one, and I'm gonna put one up here on my back wall too. So we'll be twinsies.
I love it. Yeah, as soon as the race is over, I immediately sent the broadcast over to. That also worked well for me. I now scored another sponsor again with the established traffic control for next season. So I reached out to Brendan Chatley over there, and we were able to get y'all in touch.
Well, I love it because he messaged me today, said he watched it, he loved the broadcast, and he has something in mind of what I want behind me. So I can't wait to see the design. You finished 5th here tonight, and I would say you had a very eventful run because you kind of just had to sit there and watch things play out in front of you. Were you hoping that they were going to tangle up and potentially wreck there?
I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't hoping for it, that I could squeeze through. I kind of played blocker kind of most for the night for the team, kind of last in line of our team trucks there. I'd be lying if I didn't want to sneak through and steal a couple more spots away, but I'm happy with how it all ended up overall.
Well, we go to Richmond next week, and you have a chance to go out there and maybe win that one. I know I asked you the same question last week about here. You said you'd run good. You going to do it again?
I'm not going to lie to you, probably not. I tend to have a history of finding that turn 2 wall on exit there, and it's something I can't seem to break. So I'm hoping just to keep all 4 on it this time.
Well, it happens to the best of us because I've never raced at Richmond where I haven't hit that wall. So I believe in you, Austin. I feel like you can do it, and hopefully by then I have my big old banner behind me, and we'll be twinsies somewhere. Can I put your logo on it too? That little Texas logo that's behind you?
Absolutely. I can get that over to Chatley, and he can get that on there for you. No problem.
I like what I'm hearing. All right, Austin, any shout-outs for you tonight?
Just want to thank you guys for such a great broadcast every week. Always keeping it fun. My new sponsor, Established Traffic Control, my teammates over at Waterback, and my friends over at the Houston Curling Club. And cannot forget to thank my wife for putting up with me and letting me race every week. So thanks to Emily and all she does.
Always got to thank the wife. I appreciate my wife for, putting up with me back here too. Austin Hunter, congrats on the top 5 finish. We'll see you at Richmond next week.
Thank you guys. Looking forward to it.
Terry, I think if you get one of those banners, we should do a sort of a switcheroo and not tell anybody. Terry in the car, Austin Hunter in the commentary booth. I think that would work out pretty well. But let's take a look at the race next week. Richmond. We've heard from everybody, Terry. It's a short track. I don't normally like short tracks. I do like Richmond. What are we going to see next week?
A lot of beating and banging. I feel like what we saw at Lucas Oil Raceway or IRP or ORP or whatever you want to call it in your Rolodex of names for that track, it's going to be fun. I think Richmond's going to be one of the most high-octane, unpredictable races. I expect to see Abner Acosta and Bradley Holly up front, but I expect drivers who necessarily didn't get the run they thought they were going to get tonight come in next week, put a lot of practice in, and maybe go out there. It should be under the lights. So a little short track under the lights racing, beating and banging. I'm going to pick a surprise winner. A surprise winner. Oh, if we're shutting lights off. Yeah. Surprise winner. Big surprise winner. Eric Papineau takes the win next week at Richmond.
The lights are off. The lights will be off next week at Richmond, as far as I know. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here on this broadcast tonight. From me, from Terry Radford, from Connery Maddock, we've certainly had a lot of fun. I hope you have too. We'll be back next week at Richmond for the PRL NASCAR Truck Series' return. We'll also be back tomorrow for more PRL action. The PRL F3 Series will be taking on the Circuit des Spa-Francorchamps tomorrow night. I will be in that race, and I expect to not finish, but that's beside the point. We'll see you tomorrow, we'll see you next week, and we'll see you 5 nights a week for Precision Racing League action. But until we see you next time, so long.